There we go. Okay, so for me, main thing at setup we look at is width of stance. I think it's something that you sometimes fall into with your fuller shots. And I think possibly that became an issue when you didn't want to move onto the knee because you couldn't. Yeah. So I think by standing quite close together...
I think because when I was wider, I couldn't move that.
Exactly, so
whereas if I brought the knee in...
It gave you more mobility, but didn't really give you much stability. And then the movement onto that left side was quite restrictive, okay? So we can see in this movement here now, I mean, if I just saw that there, and I couldn't see the club, I'm there going... He's probably like a 70, 80 yard pitch shot or 60 yard pitch shot based on that narrowness of stance, okay? So as we swung back here, good turn on the way back. Now as we come back to the golf ball, the knee's not really moving left, that club's coming out, then it's almost kind of going backwards, the knee. And then as you get into impact now, you can see impact, there's the ball about to be hit. Hands behind the golf ball, that knee's just about kind of going forward, but hasn't really got to that left side as much as we want to. And then it comes to after shot, and then you kind of get there now. The pleasing thing is you can get there, and as you said yourself, and I'm always going to keep coming back, as you know me, I'll keep double checking because I don't want to sort of make sure someone's actually in your pain, obviously. But you can see you've got to your left side here. It's just there's your impact at 3.47, and there's where your left knee should be at 3 points. So it's like 200th of a second short of where it needs to be. It's not miles away, so it's just an awareness that you can do that. Okay, so that impact there for me is a bit scoopy. You're hitting the sweet spot. And there's a difference between hitting the ball good and striking the ball good. Hitting the ball good is hitting the ball from the middle of the club face, which a lot of people can do. Striking it's good, getting the right bit of shaft lean, the angle on the club, the contact, the ball, then turf, that different acoustics. And they always say if you're into a tour event, you hear the pros strike the ball, it sounds different. Even the ones who are like the top, McIlroy and Tiger, that sort of, and maybe Brooks or something, maybe a bit Bryson, I guess. When you're on the range, I think, oh, that sounds different to some of those pros down there, and some of the pros down there are far better than most club gobbers, obviously.
I remember hearing John Daly hit a ball.
The ball just screams off the cliff. It's like, it's unreal. So that wider base, I think now we can get into. Okay, backswing wise, I say is very, very good. We get a nice set. Now from here, the practice we can do, hopefully at home, is get that body moving into that vertical line here. You can see the first move now, bang. That is really pleasing to see that you can now do that without falling on the floor in a heap, because I think in the past you tried to do that a couple of times and then you could almost see yourself go, and then once you get that kind of pain, the knee's going to lock, because obviously when you're doing this now and your leg's going backwards, your left knee as you're twisting onto here is kind of there's a lot of strain on the left knee with the golf swing, which is why a lot of tour players, with the way they have swung it, have put pressure on their left knee. Their hips then obviously come out of balance, because you know if one knee's not working so well, the hips then tend to realign. It's all kind of the structure of the body there that kind of compensates, isn't it? So we're going to try and get into that impact there. If you can just practice that movement there, don't even have to hit the golf ball. That movement there now, head staying behind the golf ball, your right shoulder is coming underneath nicely. I mean, that is just such a transformation from, well, certainly from 6 months ago, okay, to where you are now. And again, because I think now the confidence is there, you're able to move your body better. The hands now, as we can see, sort of roughly in the middle of the blur there is where they are at impact. That's a nice strike there. Pleasing thing now, that the head now is behind the golf ball, so the shoulders are moving correctly. You're not sort of scooping and flicking at it. And I know we haven't seen a ball flight as such, the shoulder, exactly, it's back more and stuff out of the way. So, and I know in terms of, we can see where the ball hits the screen and where the ball comes back to. So we're still seeing kind of an impact, and again, you're feeling an impact. And I think from your point of view, the fact you can stand there and stay in that position in balance, okay? So the ones you had where you lost a bit of balance, it was a little bit wobbly, or you thinned it, the speed would have felt quicker. The swing speed didn't increase. You just mishit it and got the impression that it was a faster swing, So I wouldn't slow it down, because if you slow things down, you probably slow down the movement you're trying to make. So at the moment, your focus is on that there. So if you're focusing on your left knee's movement, then you go, I'll try and slow it down. This will then start slowing down the clubs, and then you'll be back into this position on the left-hand side, So get that movement with that left hip to the point where you just know, I can't not do it. And the way I kind of described it a few weeks ago, just sort of done this quite a few times now recently with people, it's almost like your body's trying to learn a new language, right? Now, if I said to you a sentence in, I don't know, French, German, or whatever it may be, a language you didn't speak at all, and said, right, say that back to me, you probably get it wrong a little bit the first time. 2 or 3 times you might get it close, and by around 4th or 5th attempt you probably get it right. So on that day at whatever 10:41 on a 2nd of July, you said that phrase, boom, you said it. If you didn't say that sentence for a week and I came back, oh, but what's that? You'd be like, oh, hang on, it was. Oh, there was a je and a comic. You remember bits of it, but it would all be kind of blurry and hazy. Yeah? To get it to the point where you can just say it like that, you just got to repeat it over and over again. And the beauty of what I try and get people to try and do in terms of practice doesn't mean going to range and 10,000 golf balls. No. Does that kill you? You'd be absolutely shattered after about a month. So, but if you could say at home when the golf's on, okay, I'm going to do this in the ad breaks when the golf comes on. Okay, do that movement for a minute. Okay, if you do that for a minute, I mean, it's probably taking you. I mean, this is going full speed, obviously. So we will say you could do probably just more than one every 2 seconds, roughly. Yeah. So you take if you do that for a minute, you'll get 30. Do that for 5 minutes. Okay, you have a break in between. You'll probably get 90 or 100 moves that ad break. Yeah. You do that over the golf on a Sunday night. If you watch the golf on a Sunday night, maybe on Sky. 8 o'clock coverage, 7 o'clock coverage, you might go to like 10, 11 o'clock, whatever you go to, okay? And you do that every ad break. Maybe give yourself a rest every now and then to sort of make sure you don't overdo it. But by the end of that night, you'd have probably done about 500 or 600 that move. In 2 weeks' time, you've done 1,000. In a month's time, you've done 6. So it will suddenly add up quite quickly. And that's if you're not even playing golf at all, hitting balls down here. So you add that into your kind of routine. Suddenly now your left knee is not going to have to think about what it's going to do. Your brain just goes, this is what I do. It's like when you drive a car for the first time. When you first drive a car, I remember years ago when I first passed my test, you could drive. And then when your mates get in for the first time, you're like, oh God, I want to talk to them, but I don't want to talk to them if I can't concentrate on talking. Now when you drive a car, you can sit there, you can play the radio, you can chat to your colleagues and stuff and friends and this and the other. You're not worried about anything, are you? Because you know you just drive like that. Okay? So the more you can repeat over and over again, the more that move becomes fluent. I think from you as a confidence thing, the fact you can get there now is brilliant. And I think it'd be interesting to see tomorrow how that feels. If it feels a bit like, oh, I've moved the muscle there, then fine, we can just sort of we'll just hone it back a little. But just, you got obviously, you're your own critic in terms of how much you do and don't do, as the case may be, and push yourself to a point where it's comfortable. Don't overdo it, obviously. In the past, we've thought, I'm going to go for it, I've got to say, Bob, the difference in those impacts there now for me, like all the lines so we can see a bit, that's a very different impact position, isn't it? I mean, the right knee's moving in, the left leg's nice and vertical, your left hip's over your left. It's just a much more powerful hip, which is ideally what we're looking for, Okay, mate? Good stuff. Let's have a few more then, buddy, okay? Let's give it some more shots, and now we're giving you a bit of a rest. We'll see how that translates. If you've remembered what that feeling is, after 7 minutes.